springtime comes, getting your lawnmowers ready for springtime and for the mowing season ahead. I would say that the average homeowner maybe mows his yard, I don't know, 20, 25 times a year, maybe a little more than that if he's really obsessive about it. But since I, the Keykeeper, run a commercial mowing business here in the town I live, I really have to go all out. I got 2 quarts of Napa straight 30 weight motor oil, 2 quarts, 56 ounces, whatever you want to call it. I got a brand new oil filter, and then I got a set of brand new mulching mower blades from our Craftsmen LT 2000 riding lawnmower. I've had it going already this year, so the only thing I need to do to it is change the oil filter. It's been a year. You can see that, 2010. Clean the deck. I'm going to take the deck off, and I'm going to clean it off at the car wash, get all this crap out of it, change my blades while the deck's off, and then I'm going to come back and change my motor oil. And let's see, where's the spigot spout thing? The spigot spout thing is on this side of the engine in an excellent location because I can put my oil pan right in there and just pull that cap off and open that thing up and let her drain. So I'm going to get started on that here, so stay tuned for opportunities of bloody knuckles, swearing, new vocabulary, and more adventures. Here we are again. We're ready to change oil in our little tractor. First thing you have to do is take your steering wheel, turn your wheel all the way out so you can fit your big oil pan in there. Or if you've got one of those nice triangles, those always help too. Anyway, we're going to try to get a hose or something to minimize spilling on our concrete floor. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to do is open that so the system can vent. And then I'm going to find a hose or a funnel or something to use. So I just procured myself an old RC bottle. I'm going to cut it off so I can shove it up in there and it will act like a funnel to put the oil in the pan set all over the floor. Also, to aid in getting the oil out of the engine, I've got the tractor jacked up on the opposite side to help the oil come to the drain plug of the oil pan. So I used my little Gerber cheap pocket knife that was made in China, and I wish it wasn't. So now that the pop bottle is open up and we avoid cutting our knee hole ribbons, we're going to shove it in there just like so, and then we're going to use it to funnel the old oil out of the engine. See the old oil coming out of the engine, and how I'm using the pop bottle as a sort of crude funnel. Needs to be a little longer, but I'll make it work. I don't want to take the deck out just yet. As you see, it's still under there. I got a Coke bottle, RC bottle, and I cut the bottom off it, put the lid back on, and then I'm just draining all the used oil into the bottle. This is where I drop the iPhone in there. That'd make a big splash and make me very mad. Anyway, this little engine takes about 56 ounces worth of motor oil, and for those dummies out there, including myself, that's 2 quarts. Because each quart is about 28 ounces, give or take a few. So here I am, squatting on my feet, waiting for this tractor to empty its oil out. Fun stuff. This was the last little bit of oil out of the engine, and after thoroughly killing my knees, I realized that I had the leftover bottle of a quarter Mobil 1 from a previous oil change. So what I do is I cut the top 3/4 of the bottle off, and I use it as a funnel because I'm always losing them. I'm always losing funnels I go buy, and then I can't find them for when I do oil changes. So I found that in the lawn cart back there, and I just set that down. So, and I let I'm going to use this to catch oil out of the oil filter too. So really the only tool you need to do this job is some ingenuity and the oil filter wrench, but thankfully the oil filter on the little tractor is not that tight, so I can twist it by hand. And also some rubber gloves, because used oil is a known carcinogen. And so while that's finishing up down there, we're going to venture to the other side of the tractor where you can see we have a cheap Chinese jack. And we're going to gently lower the tractor down. I said gently, that's not so gently. Checking to make sure that that is still lined up, because we don't want oil on a concrete floor. You actually be able to probably kill us if we found out we got oil on the floor. Anyway, we come back over here, pull the jack away, turn the wheels again so we can get to the oil filter. So once our wheels have been turned, we're going to lay down a shop towel, which is actually a towel. I bought it at a local retailer for like $3, so it's cheap enough that I really don't care about it. Anyway, now that that's set up, we're going to take our pop bottle and we're going to bring it over. Notice the cap's on good and tight. We're going to set it up in the nook here that we just made, the kitchen oil, and then we're going to spin the oil filter off. That's the only thing that I hate about using the iPhone as a video camera. People who want to call me at work can call me, and when I've got hands covered in motor oil, it's kind of a pain in the ass to answer the telephone. Anyway, moving on. We have the oil filter off the little engine. You can see that right there. So we have a pop bottle set up to catch all the remaining oil. The oil filter is actually in the pop bottle. And then we're going to take our other shop rag that's over on the other side of the tractor. This little Goomba down here. And yes, that is a very technical term, Goomba. And we are going to wipe the metal surfaces of the engine clean, well, the oil filter will mount up. And now I'm getting the shop light so you guys can see what I'm doing. Because even though I have the doors open, it's still kind of dark in here. We all need to make up a petition and have it signed, I don't know, like 500 signatures or something to get UXW Bill to get lights in here. But he's working on it slowly and surely. He told me today that he might put another outlet in here sometime. There, now we can see. Okay, that's what I'm dealing with. And it's got some still oil come out of it. Oh. Hello, Airsoft BB. Okay, we're going to take our rag. I'm just going to clean the... Whoa, crap. That's okay, there's nothing really... There's no appreciable amount of oil coming out of there now. We're just going to take our rag and we're going to clean everything. Because we don't want any dirt in our engine. Because dirt and engines don't mix. Anyway, just work your finger in there, being careful not to cut yourself on the sharp aluminum. Because it will cut you badly. Just like copper, it'll cut you. So now that you've got your mating surface cleaned up and you already have your old filter off, you already put your new filter on. This is a natural Briggs & Stratton filter. The one I took off was a Napa filter. So we're going to take some used motor oil, just enough to wet the O-ring. I'm going to wet the O-ring to help it seal better. It's very critical you do this so you get a good seal. Good seal. Seal, seal, seal. Just like that. And then you're going to thread it on there. Being careful not to cross thread it, because if you cross thread it, you're screwed. It just spins on. Now, this isn't an automotive style filter, okay? So don't crank it on there. All you need is hand tight. They tell you on the filter, hand tighten only. So, since I'm a bit of a paranoid maniac, we just snugged it down a little tighter. Now, we have our filter installed. So we're going to go over to the other side of the tractor, and we are going to close our drain port by pushing in and turning clockwise. We put a little cap on to cover up the little other cap thing on the oil filler, on the oil drainer. We're going to take this and we're going to set it inside that, and then we're going to tip it so we don't have any oil standing about. And then we're going to get ready to add our new motor oil. Operating principle here: clean the oil filler, clean your dipstick. You don't want dirt in your engine. With the little engine calling for 2 quarts of motor oil, we're going to get started putting the motor oil in. And we're going to check it for leaks as we're putting it in, especially down there, because those things are notorious for leaking. My boss has a Toro zero-turn mower that's got either a Briggs engine or a Tecumseh, and he started it up one day and it didn't sound right. Well, he immediately shut it off and checked the oil. Well, long and behold, the oil was low, and he discovered that that thing had been leaking oil. So yeah, when you're working with these things, always make sure that you put them back the way you found them and double check it. And I even know some guys that have gone so far to take those things off and put in just a pipe cap on the end of that to prevent the chance of it leaking. So we don't need a funnel for this. So we're just going to come in like so and put some oil in the engine. I don't want to put it in too fast because you don't want it coming back up through the oil filler tube. The thing I hasten to point out is that you don't want to put too much oil in these little engines, because too much oil in any engine is not good. It can cause problems. So we have 1 quart down, 1 dead Indian, and we got another live Indian up there. So we're going to let the oil settle in the engine for like 5 minutes or so. We're going to come back out here, check for some leaks, check the oil filter, see if it's leaking. Then we're going to actually check the level of oil in the engine. Because even though the tag says on the inside of the hood 2 quarts, it may not be right. So don't always go by what the tag says, the parts tag, that guy says on the inside of the mower cover. I've made that mistake. I've put too much oil in an engine, and I have been lucky enough never to have a problem, but I don't want it to happen to you, so just double check everything. Earlier in the video when I said that I wanted to double check my dipstick before I started putting another quart of oil in, well, it turns out that was a good thing, because I'm just at, the way it is now, the quart of oil in the engine, I'm just at the add mark, okay, on the dipstick. So I don't know what that 56-ounce designation on the part sticker is for. Maybe it's the transmission, the automatic transaxle in the rear of the tractor. I don't know. But we're going to put just a tad more oil in the engine, and then we're going to stop because it'll have plenty of engine oil in it. And then I've got to make up my mind if I'm going to do some mowing today for a customer, or if I'm going to wait to do that tomorrow morning. I don't know yet, because usually Bill's wanting me to look at his wheel bearing, and I've got to get this tractor out of the garage from behind the leaf sucker, and then get the toy-built tiller off the trailer, and I have to go back uptown at work, and then I have to make a recycling run, so yeah, don't know if I'm going to get everything done that I want to do today. Anyway, we're going to clean our dipstick off as best we can here on our shop rag. And we're going to put it back in the engine. Come on, get in there. We're going to let it sit for a minute. And then I get this idea from watching the guy on his Cub Cadet. He took some address labels that he got, and he'd put them on the hood of his tractor, and he would keep a maintenance record of everything he'd done on his tractor. Well, we're not going to get that fancy, but we are going to do something similar to that. We're going to take this rag here, and we're going to clean a spot off on our tractor hood as best as we can. Yeah, it's going to work for me. And then we're going to attach some masking tape right here with the date that we did our oil change on. So it'd be like 4/18/2011 oil and filter change. There's that all said and done. Now we have a constant reminder of when we did our last maintenance work on this tractor. While you're changing the oil, it's also an excellent opportunity to check your air filter. Now, what we're going to do at this one, since it's a washable heavy-duty air filter, I'm going to take it over here, and I'm just going to clean it. I don't feel like spending the time today to actually wash the air filter. I may take it in and hose it off a little bit, but I don't even think I'll do that. I'll just come over here and beat it against a rotten 2x4 that's bound to shake up a hornet's nest out of the old roach palace. And then I'll die because I'm probably allergic to hornet stings or something that I don't even know. So once the air filter's clean, we'll put it back in the little engine the correct way and making sure everything fits snugly. And we'll put the cover on. Then we'll latch it all together. Take our tape. It's got our company name on it, so Bill can't steal it. That's how you go about changing your motor oil on your Craftsmen LT 2000 riding lawnmower. And now I'm going to tackle a different project that I'll fill you in on a little bit. I got some new blades for this tractor deck, and the old blades don't seem in that bad a shape. They really seem pretty sharp for how rusty and chipped they are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go take this deck to the car wash so I can blast all the crap off of the top of it, so every pulley is able to move and not overheat, able to cool itself properly, and all the moving sliding parts, like the deck engaging pieces, can move freely without binding up or constricting. And I don't know if I'm going to leave these blades on the tractor or just go ahead and replace them anyway.